methodologies, so they can, on the local level, develop projects concerning food and every other food and issues they have with that. So I will describe the project and our results. It is not in some project, we have several aspects of it. So I will mostly talk about this implementation part and about lessons that we learned. We are now developing some papers and research papers that we're writing about our learnings. I will just take some parts of it to describe also. And feel free to, of course, ask any questions anytime in the chat. In SAL, or in school as living laboratories, we have principles that are, if you are familiar with open laboratories methodology, that's the same. So we focus with working with schools and communities on something which they recognize as a real problem, real issue in their very close environment. And we try to develop real solution. So it can be sometimes a bigger problem that we can solve, of course, but we try to put at least some part of it that can be solvable or that can be addressed by the capacities we have. The second very important principle is co-creation, meaning that every part of the system, every part of this community has a say in every moment, every step of the way, in every part of methodology and implementation of the project. So co-creation as a principle of working together, really together and really participatively. I had a struggle as a coordinator to explain that even children are completely equal participants in this project, and we need to hear, not to just hear their voice, but to articulate their voice as any other stakeholders in the project. That was challenging, but I think in the end we really made it. And this, the third, let's say, main principle of this methodology would be prototyping, meaning making a lot of different solutions to different small machines or prototypes that we can test, rebuild, and have many iterations before the final solution. Who are the stakeholders and who is actually this community that we are focusing on? We had, of course, schools and their community, meaning students, parents, teaching and non-teaching staff, everyone who is in school. Then local partners, and that was quite different with different schools because they choose different topics. So if they are in a food waste, then there are some other partners. If they are in the agricultural production, then there is maybe some other partner. If they are in packaging topic, then there are other partners. So local partners really specific for the local context. Parents, of course, and CPN as our institution who is coordinating in Serbia. Of course, what we wanted to achieve and what is the main goal here and for all other CPN projects is students who are interested in science, who are eager, motivated and confident to deal with scientific topics, that the community who is ready to take a bit more risk to join and to experiment with others, school that is in partnership with local community, like school as a center of local community, not just educational, but cultural, social center, school that is gathering everyone to work on some issues that the community is bothered with. Then, of course, to address certain real problem related to food system and to cross STEAM, like science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, these disciplines to engage with civic engagement, with really being citizens as young as we are or as old as we are in the community, to become citizens who are active and who are changing something, who have some agency. and of course to network with all SAL schools in Europe. So far I was pointing out our experience in Serbia, but SAL is a rather bigger project. We are a very, very small part of it. There are more than 400 schools that are involved, and these are the countries that are in the SAL project. These are the institutions that are working on that, mostly science centers, some research institutions, but mostly science centers. And we work with in Serbia with 2 focus schools. Like with 2 schools, we worked during the entire 2021. We worked with 2 focus schools very intensively, and now we are working with 10 more schools in wider community with the same methodology but with less support. So we try to test and develop more SAL methodology with 2 schools in Serbia, and as you can see, with focus community schools with many others in Europe, and then to, let's say, pack this methodology and to transfer it to wider community schools who are now dealing with that part mostly on their own, but not completely, of course. We put the thematic context of SAL the widest as possible. I took this picture from the internet, but I just couldn't make something more illustrative. It is this food system topic could be understood by any of our communities as they want. They can pick a topic from any part of the resources, producing, processing, eating, waste, exchange. I mean, any of these topics could be part of SAL. They had all the freedom to choose by themselves. And we, by introducing ourselves to the school and creating this trust, we try to establish the sense of belonging to the same team who wants to address a topic that is emerging in the local community. So, in our case, 2 focus schools choose one to deal with herbal tea herbs, and the other group chose to deal with agricultural production related to climate change. How we wanted this learning to happen? We wanted actually to engage students in something that is, and to engage actually all of the partners in something that is open-ended and really needs a multidisciplinary or maybe even transdisciplinary approach. Meaning, for the same table, there is someone who is experienced producer, somebody who is only a student and let's say consumer of food, somebody who is in local government, government dealing with issues of agricultural production, or someone who is from some NGO. So we want to put all of their lived experiences, especially students' lived experiences, on the table and see how this can be, how can this become one specific issue, one specific question we want to address, we want to answer or try to answer with our prototype, with our reactions. With many teachers, not only biology teachers, we had really different teachers involved, sometimes even class teachers for the youngest students, and they actually developed like new teaching methods that are involving this approach, that are involving open-ended challenges, that are involving rather stakeholders, and by that they're strengthening capabilities of their students, competencies of their students to deal in, let's say, with problem solving, but it was really specifically related to food systems. So it was problem solving in the field of food system, and they related that to the topics in the curricula that are actually existing. So if they are having some lessons in biology about this topic, about climate change, about food system, those lessons were taught in the SAL manner, let's say, in the SAL methodology spirit. So the first school we went to, it was in Turija, in Kučevo, so it's East Serbia. They posed the question. It is an elementary school, so they posed the question of adaptation for agricultural production to climate changes. So this community recognized that they have a problem with old methods of and all sorts of food that they are growing, but the climate changed, and there are some new possibilities that can be opened in this region, and some new sorts can be grown, but the local agriculture producers don't know that. So they did a research, like students going to the homes, really talking to agriculture producers, asking them, what are you growing? How are you growing? What is the best? What is making most success? What is not making that much success? How do you sell your products? Do you sell it at all? Who is helping? Who is involved? Is this like do you have employees, or you have only your family working on your fields, and that kind of question. So they created this research, they derived all the data, and they decided that they can make a mobile app that can actually help them choose what to grow in next year, or what to grow in next season, or what to grow in which month. They were working with local IT experts. They were working with local NGO who is dealing with things like topics in ecology, and with Institute for Health. How it is translated? Yeah, is it local Institute for Health? They worked with one doctor, actually physician, nutritionist, on that content of the app. Then, of course, drawing, design, and everything with experts regarding that. And this is how the app finally looks like. It's called My Garden. It's working on the base, of course, on your location. It doesn't work only for their region. It works for everything that is on Google Map. It crosses data from Google Map from your location with the data about climate change from NASA website. And according to the temperatures, humidity, and other aspects that are important for growing specific plants, this app will suggest you which month is best for growing which kind of food.
Thank you, Jelena. I have to